Hello, Menashe. This is the second video I'm making today, okay? And this is actually my first book review and criticism in the good and the bad way of this one. Raven Grimassi's Grimoire of the Thorn-Blooded Witch, mastering the 5 arts of old world witchery. Now, I admit I didn't read the previous book. I didn't read the old world witchery that he has written. But, this is, okay, first of all, I would like to start, this is a good book. This is an actual good book. And there are so few good books in witchcraft. And, most of you experienced witches that are out there, most of you that have been in this game for more than 5, 6, 7, 10 years, you know that each and every one somebody is like throwing at you one of those books. If you can get 1, 2, or 3 things out of it that are like new and useful and wonderful, then this is a good book. But most of the reading, it's like, a blunder that is like written by the author of this book, and you can like either ignore it or use it. But those books that are basically Wicanese, I have no other way to describe them, usually have very little to offer. Okay? Now, why is this a good book? First of all, Raven Grimassi is giving you here, as I'm an old world witch, meaning, even though I started, with Wicca and grew out of it, eventually I was snatched by voodoo, and I really learned the old craft, okay? The craft that makes you go out and dig out some roots, the craft that makes you understand that, a certain perfume could be deadly, and, the nonsensical magical art. Now, this book is a wonderful beginning of blending the two, both the new craft as suggested by the Wicanese and the old craft as suggested by traditional teachers and masters. Now, there is nothing wrong with advancing in witchcraft. I think that my grandmamas would be happy to have Facebook in their times, and to be able to print pictures of people and use those to make protection / hexing thing. Just take the picture you have printed, put the hexing or protection herbs in it, and fold it into a nice little packet. My grandmothers would have loved having those at that time, okay? But they didn't have it. So I'm saying advancing is not a bad thing. But what happened is that in a way you have the neo-Wicca, or the Wicca that was perpetualized by Scott Cunningham and by Buckland, are basically repeating the same material again and again and again without adding anything new to it. And this is becoming slightly boring to me. Okay? Now, let's talk about the good and the bad of this book. First of all, he is proposing a new old Wicca. Meaning, he takes the Wicca structure that was very and immensely successful. I mean, this is the fastest growing religion in the world right now, okay? And he's trying to implement on it old world witchcraft things. Now, how is he trying to do so? By mixing in a melange of old witchcraft practices into the basic Wiccan ritual. Okay? Now, let's talk about the episodes. Okay? I know the camera here is dreadful. Sorry. The Enchanted World, the Rose and the Thorn Path. This is the path. We will be talking about the Rose and the Thorn Path a lot. Tools of the Witch's Craft, Plant Spirits of the Greenwood, Works of Magic, the Old Ones, the Mythos, the Old Rites, and the Modern Solitary Rites. Now, I would like to, first of all, the enchantment world is like an episode that basically tells you, yes, there is the world of the dead, yes, there is an astral, yes, there is powers and also many things, which is, very standard for text like that. I read this episode and it bored me half to tears. This almost made me like throw away the book, because this is again regurgitating of old stuff that was like basically being told to me again and again. Now the new stuff in the Rose and the Thorn path, basically what happens is that he is taking the reader and he is introducing him to a new spirit. She of the blooded thorn, she of the rose-blooded thorn, and she of the rose-blooded thorn, she is a key spirit that allows you to call upon spirits of powerful medicinal herbs like aconite, like henbane, okay, and stuff like that, through a system not unsimilar to that of Goetia. You have like their true name, you have like their spirit sigil. I will show this to you, okay, it's in the end. Okay, you see those? Okay, you see aconite, birch. By the way, he's one of the things that the mistake that he is basically doing is by his mistake. He is saying he gives the aconite and what was the other name of the aconite? Basically, in the book, he's like. He's saying that aconite is the aconite spirit is different than the monkshood spirit, but it's the same plant. So he's making a mistake in this book about which ones about the herbs themselves. He doesn't recognize that both are basically the same plants. But never mind that. So he's suggesting that we would call upon the spirit of, let's say, foxglove. Okay. Let's see what it says that foxglove is doing, okay? Oh, wolfsbane. He says that the wolfsbane is the different plant than aconite, but it's basically the same plant, not monkshood. It has many names. I completely understand. Here, okay, hemlock, okay? The spirit of light is called atonen, pronounced atonin, and it serves to make reparation for wrongdoings, okay? It's in essence a spirit of redemption. The spirit most often appears in human male figure with plant's features. He is evoked on Saturday in the beginning of every hour of the plant, and this is like the evocation, and he explains to you how to call and walk with those spirits, while he's suggesting certain ways, like take the plate, put some ashes on it, paint the sigil of the plant, whatever, and he also tells you how to basically take control over the spirits if they are doing wrong by going back to she of the thorned rose. Now, that's very nice, but it has been done before with spirits. You don't have plant spirits. Usually don't like, in my experience, such rigid structure and ritual, okay? You want to commune with a plant, you go to it, you give it a little bit of water, you care for it, you weed it, and then you ask him politely, may I have a few of your leaves? You will get a sensation of yes or no, and once you got its leaves, you put them in a basket. You don't let them touch the earth, because once you touch them in the earth, they lose their power. And then when you take them home, you can talk to him and say, will you please help me in this endeavor, on that endeavor? You don't need all of that, in my experience, okay? But this path is valid, okay? This path is valid. And also, this book is built on this ritual where he gives the rose 3 drops of his blood, and he drinks 3 drops of liquid chlorophyll, in which he's combining himself with the plant world. Well, everybody that eats veggies is basically combined into the plant's world. When you go to the bathroom and you digest the food and it comes out, in the form of, secretions, comes back to the earth. You are not disconnected from the plant life, okay? And it contains your bodily fluids. Now, making this ritualize is very nice, and there are rituals like this where you bleed on a copper coin and bury it beneath an oak tree so the forest years will be your own, and yada yada yada. But making an entire book out of it is, it's a charming practice, but making an entire book, an entire system out of it is not necessarily the right thing to do, in my opinion. Okay? Now, in the next episode, he talks about the witch's tools. And this is like my favorite episode in this book. It's really good. He gives you all the tools. First of all, this is another thing that he actually nailed on the head. Yes, the mortar and pestles are used for magic. They are not just for grinding herbs. The bowl, the mortar, is representing the womb. The pestle represents the phallus. And when you grind, you create something new. And this is an act of pregnancy. And this is an act of making love. This is an act of uniting with the plant itself. Okay? And, in African witchcraft, the mortar and pestle is the symbol of witchcraft. Okay? If you see the worship of Oshun Ibukole, Oshun the vulture witch, you see that there is a gourd hanged about five wooden mortars and pestles in which he makes magical powders. So yes, I loved it that he added it in here, and I loved it that suddenly he is talking about using mortars and pestles for magic. This is something that I've been doing for a very long time. It's like I'm crushing the herbs, I'm taking the pestle, and I spring them down around. This is a very empowering act. Okay? Now, in the tools, he added, the Cornish and general European stangs. He decided there is a male and a female stangs, which are magical. He doesn't explain to you why they are magical, but they are magical because basically, since the twig grows into two shapes, it creates a luminosity. The in-between places are immensely important for witchcraft. By creating this luminosity, okay, you have a small portal to the other world. So making it female or male wouldn't be so logical for me. But what I liked most about this book is the fact that he has so many different ways to charge things, so many ways to consecrate things, so many ways which are not the boring make holy water, basically baptize this in the name of the goddess, which really is stupendous. This book is worth it for this episode alone. And as I said, I have taken a tool from this book. This is my tool. Say hello. This is my black horn staff, which was consecrated. Now, he has there in the tools, in the tools of the witch's craft, the black thorn, it's a special consecration and like spells. You can use this to bind, you can use this to protect, you can use this to cast illusions, you can use this to hex, and you can use this to bless. Okay? And it gives you like a short two-liner spells. Now, Mr. Grimassi, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. English is not my native tongue. It doesn't have to rhyme to be magical. It doesn't have to set you necessarily in the mood to be a magical spell. And I wish you would go and read Robin Artison's books, like, The Horn of Everwood and stuff like that, where he analyzes ancient written spells and see what makes them magical, because this is sorely lacking in this book, understanding how the spoken word influences the world. Another thing, okay, this was part of my favorite thing. I am Pharmakute. He claims that the oldest word for witch is Pharmakute. Well, in ancient Greece, a female witch was Pharmakia, and a male witch was Pharmakos. Okay, it wasn't Pharmakute. But those are not also the most ancient words. The most ancient words are Harashu, Harash. Harashu means basically to forge, not forgery, but to forge something like iron. Okay, this comes from Canaanite. This comes from like the first text in cuneiform we ever find. A Harashu is one that bends reality, that really forges reality. reality, basically. This is the oldest word for witch. Yes, you learned something new today. Be happy. Well, singing Ein Pharmakute wouldn't give, it's not the oldest, but it doesn't need to be the oldest to be the best, and this is the problem, okay? I don't need a new religion. Most of the witches out there that I know are eclectic. Give us the good stuff. Don't give us another way to celebrate summer solstice. We know how to celebrate summer solstice. Usually it's either about sex or death, and we have lots of alcohol and sex in it. Okay? We don't need new celebrations. We need you to go and reprint the old rites that nobody speaks about. Okay? And in this case, the educated witch finds more in academic books depicting cursed tablets from ancient Greece and Rome than a New Age book. Okay? But again, for a New Age book, this is one of the best. Okay, another thing that I had a problem with is this, okay? In the whole system of summoning the spirits of plants, you're not taking into consideration the fact that I live in Israel and we don't have foxglove here. So what should I do? Then you give us a solution. Well, we are talking to the spirit of the plant, not necessarily the plant itself. And I'm like, so why did you bother to have a plant spirit to begin with? You have angels. You have earth and crystal spirits. You have every little pebble has its own spirits. But by the way, this is a sign. This is one of the signs that if you want to know if the craft is really old, the older it gets, the animistic it gets. Okay, I could take this, for instance, this nose spray and tell it, Spirit of nose sprays, please heal me quickly. Please make sure I wouldn't get addicted to you. If you're doing this correctly, you would get that. Speaking with the spirits of what's out there, understanding that plastic and plasticine stuff are made from oil that is made from dead fossils that are millions of years a part of this earth. Okay? Nothing is disconnected from nature, and this is one of the lessons of the old craft. This is why everything is magical, or everything is potentially magical. And you miss that. And another thing is like the audacity to use the picture. I'm not sure if it's Kirke or Medea here. Most likely it's Medea, okay? You also mention it in the book. Okay, look, she knew her herbs. You're not teaching me anything about your herbs, okay? You give us 2 recipes in this book. 2 herbal recipes. One of the herbal recipes is moon oil. You're sending us to mix some camphor oil with some jasmine oil. Essential oils. Do you think the old witches had essential oils? No, they took bunch of herbs, they picked the same way that I mentioned before, and they put that in a jar, and they put some oils about it, and they waited the months that they needed to make some proper moon oil. The same with castor oil. You're not even giving us a recipe for that. Okay? We don't have a recipe for castor oil. You told us, go and buy it in occult shops. What ancient witch had an accessible occult shop? Was it really difficult to invent, or ask one of your witchy friends to invent for you an easy recipe for castor oil, or have it recreated? Okay? So we witches could make it and use it. On that note, I'm going to give you, all of you watchers of YouTube, castor oil later. I'm not selling anything, I'm just giving you the recipe. Go do that if you can. Okay, after you give us, the herbs, he gives us, all sorts of pentacles with all sorts of symbols, and they walk like the same old pentacles of old. Take it, carve it on something, and it will give you this and this energy. And again, but those are special ones because those are not Solomonic pentacles, so they don't have those nasty monotheistic things to them. They are just all pentacle shaped, meaning they are all like this, okay? But you don't explain the symbols in them. Why the symbols are in them important. Why they are made of. The more you understand about your magic, the more effectively you could practice it. And since I don't understand half of the things that, they are painted on, because, I don't understand the symbol, okay? I understand the central symbol, okay? This is Mercury, this is This is, the Mercury stuff, but I don't understand anything around it. Why don't you stop to explain? This is a grimoire. This is supposed to teach me magic. This is what grimoire is supposed to do. I'm supposed to understand why this is made like this. Okay? So please explain those to me, because this is why I'm paying you for this book. Explain to me how to make my very own Pentacle of Mercury that is not relying on your original design. Please. Thank you. Then gives you, again, systems of charging. He talks about the gods. He says, one of the things that he says in the episodes, the old ones, we prefer in our system not to name the gods, not say like Hecate or something like that, but to give them a description. Well, allow me to tell you something. All the gods' names, most of the gods' names in ancient religions were descriptions. Okay? They had nicknames attached to their gods that said what they were doing. For instance, Hecate for Horus, Hecate the illuminating one. Even Hecate has meaning. Okay, Medea is the gift of life. All names originally has a meaning. So you don't need to bring it back to the prototype to give them a description instead of a name. Okay, you don't need to call the moon she of the full crescent or something. Okay, you can call her moon. And that would be just fine, because your intermediary deity, which should have been she of the blood, thorn, rose, whatever, could have done this, could have translated what you say to her in a way that would be appealing to her. So playing with the true name, deciding that the moon's true name is Potia, is a bit funny for me. Okay. Okay. Now, another thing of the old rites, your old rites are wonderful. The old rites, like, your drawing down the moon is very powerful and beautiful. Okay, your moon rites are beautiful. Your necromancy rite in here, yes, there is necromancy rite in here that is both legit and beautiful, but yet lacks for my test proper offerings. Okay, so make sure that make sure to do divination. Oh, this is another thing. He doesn't give you a method of divination here. And as a witch, you should know that before you attempt any spell casting, you should do divination in order for you to take full responsibility for what this spell, A, what it needs, B, how it works, and C, taking care of what comes out of it. You remember that story about that woman? Okay, this is like a general story about that woman that tried to cast a money spell and killed her auntie, and she inherited all her money. This is why we perform divination, so we know that our spell wouldn't kill any auntie that brings us money. So you need to take care of that. And in the end, I'm thinking this could have been a much better book if you wouldn't try to take that wisdom you acquired and wrap it as for us in Wicca. I think that it would be much better for us if you tell us, well, you could take the system of Goetia and try to work it on plants, and then we can decide to argue with you or not. Now, this book is important also because it's new, and this also represents progression in let's see how new it is. Okay, yes, this is first published in 2014. This is the first edition. This is new. This is like what Scott Cunningham started, and what all those reclaiming witches started, and it has led us to this. It has its good sides, it has its bad sides, but please try to be, more objective, and please try to understand that there are witches out there which do not need the 8 tablets of witches in order to be witches. Okay? Please do more of the advanced spell casting in your books, and they would be better. So yes, I highly recommend this book. I highly recommend this book for new witches, new Wiccan witches that want to be more connected to ancient crafts and ancient witchcraft systems that are long gone. This is a good introduction for it, somewhat. I recommend this to old world witches that want to see how things melt into Wicca, and I recommend this to every student, every serious student of the occult. So I hope I didn't overspeak, and I hope I didn't insult anybody by my piercing, scrutinizing review. But again, this is an important book, so it deserves scrutiny. Be well, goodbye, and Asher.